because I'm so overworked and so stressed out that.
As Tammy's recovery picked up momentum and her progress began to dominate social media feeds, fans were quick to notice a peculiar absence. Whenever Tammy posted updates about her accomplishments, new photos, cheerful videos, or heartfelt reflections on how far she had come, her sister Amy was conspicuously quiet. On Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, Tammy's victories attracted floods of comments from strangers, friends, and even celebrities who admired her resilience. But Amy, the person closest to her, rarely offered words of encouragement or celebration in public. While it is not unusual for siblings to keep their feelings private, the silence stood out precisely because their relationship had been lived so openly for years, every triumph and tragedy recorded and shared for the world to see. Fans interpreted Amy's silence as an intentional act, a quiet refusal to cheer too loudly for her sister, as though acknowledging Tammy's rise would somehow diminish her own relevance. Each missed comment, each absent congratulatory post, became fuel for speculation that Amy was not merely overwhelmed or distracted by her own struggles, but that she was deliberately minimizing her sister's success. What made the contrast darker was the way their storylines on the show seemed to diverge in opposite directions. While Tammy was climbing out of despair, Amy was sinking into personal hardship. Her marriage to Michael Halterman was collapsing, leading to a divorce that played out under the unforgiving spotlight of reality television. Her parenting was criticized by viewers who saw messy homes, overwhelmed moments, and questionable choices captured on camera. Instead of being the grounded, stable figure she had once been portrayed as, Amy suddenly appeared chaotic, tired, and in some ways lost. Fans couldn't help but compare her struggles to Tammy's newfound joy, and the comparison left Amy looking like the lesser character, the sibling who was falling apart while her sister rebuilt. From the very beginning, the world of reality television was not prepared for the force of raw emotion, messy humanity, and heartbreaking struggle that would arrive with Amy and Tammy Slaton, the two sisters from Kentucky who would eventually become the unlikely stars of TLC's hit series 1,000-Pound Sisters. Their story was one that gripped audiences immediately, not because it was glamorous or neatly packaged, but because it was real in a way few reality shows ever managed to capture. Viewers were thrown into the lives of two women burdened by extreme obesity, poverty, and family conflict, who fought not only the demons in their own bodies, but also each other in ways that were both painful to watch and impossible to turn away from. Tammy, the older of the two, was portrayed as volatile, stubborn, and resistant to help, while Amy, the younger sister, was presented as the more relatable, sympathetic figure, a woman who had married, started a family, and carried the weight of her sister's declining health on her shoulders. At first glance, it was easy to assume that Amy was the good sister, the caretaker, the one who deserved admiration, while Tammy was the tragic figure spiraling toward an inevitable end. But as the seasons progressed and Tammy's life took a shocking turn from near death to miraculous recovery, fans began to notice subtle cracks in the carefully constructed narrative. Those cracks revealed something darker, something unspoken, something that has since fueled endless speculation across fan forums and social media platforms. The theory that Amy, the sister who was once the favorite, may have secretly never wanted Tammy to succeed, and may have even thrived on her sister's suffering, quickly gained traction. What seemed at first like harmless speculation soon turned into a full-blown controversy, with viewers questioning whether jealousy and resentment had poisoned the bond that was supposed to define the show. To truly understand how this belief took hold. And yet the cruelest part of all was not only the way the cameras excluded her, but the way her own sisters seemed to cooperate in that exclusion, for Misty could forgive a network driven by ratings. She could even forgive producers for their ruthless calculations, but how could she forgive the women she had grown up with, the girls she had once held hands with when the world outside felt too cruel? The sisters she had shared secrets with in the darkness of childhood, those same sisters who now turned toward the spotlight and away from her, who told her in actions if not in words that her presence threatened their shine, that her voice might fracture the illusion that made them famous, and she wondered if they ever looked at her across the dinner table. Or when the cameras stopped rolling and the lights were taken down, and thought about what it cost her to be silent, whether they realized that while they were being celebrated in glossy magazines and morning talk shows, she was sitting in her kitchen wondering if the bills would get paid, wondering how long she could keep fighting the battles they all knew too well, the battles with health, with body, with the heaviness of spirit that came from a life filled with obstacles. And yet she was denied even the dignity of being seen as someone who fought, because to the public she wasn't even there, a ghost glimpsed in passing, a background character whose contributions could be erased with the stroke of an editor's hand. And in that erasure, she began to lose not only her platform but pieces of herself, because when you are consistently told you don't matter, when you are pushed aside so many times that the rejection begins to carve itself into your bones, you begin to wonder if perhaps it's true, if perhaps you really are forgettable, disposable, unnecessary. But deep down Misty knew she wasn't. She knew that her sister's fame was built not only on their own struggles, but on the family as a whole, the bonds that were Ma. For Misty, the years of silence carried a weight that few could understand. On the outside, she appeared calm, unbothered even, as though the absence of her story in the show did not sting. But behind closed doors, her silence was heavy, laced with frustration, sadness, and an unshakable sense of injustice. She watched as her sisters' lives were dissected on screen, their struggles turned into story arcs, their tears into cliffhangers, and their victories into season finales. The world was invited to feel for Amy and Tammy, to root for them, to scold them, to celebrate them. But no one was invited to see Misty, to witness her battles, to know her truth. This invisibility was not natural, it was manufactured. Each time the cameras rolled and her presence was minimized, each time her voice was cut from a scene, each time she was pushed aside from a business opportunity, the message echoed louder: "You are not the story we want to tell." It is easy to underestimate the power of such erasure, but insiders describe its toll as cumulative and corrosive. Misty was not simply absent from a TV screen, she was erased from the cultural memory of a fan base that assumed they knew the entire family. To the millions who tuned in each week, she became a background character, if she was seen at all. This misrepresentation had consequences far beyond reputation. In reality television, visibility is currency. The more screen time one has, the more opportunities follow: endorsements, sponsorships, partnerships, book deals, social media clout. By cutting Misty from the narrative, TLC and her sisters effectively cut her off from the economic benefits of fame. Even when she appeared in family events, holidays, or crises, her contributions were either edited down or excluded altogether, ensuring she never gained the same traction as Amy or Tammy. This was not simply storytelling, it was financial gatekeeping. Friends recall Misty confiding about this unfairness in late-night conversations. Her W. "I'm ready to go. Do you think your family assumed that you could participate? I'm not talking about it. You're not talking about it ever? Right. I'll go. I'm not going to talk about it. Music. How y'all guys doing? I just want to go vape. Oh, here we go." After we got done with the obstacle, course, we chose to go get some food. But Tammy chose to stay in the van. Because according to Amy, she felt left out. Well, the truth is she wasn't left out. She chose not to participate. I'm tired of the same and nobody seems care. The only reason I can think of Tammy acting like this is because she is trying to quit vaping and it's just making her downright cantankerous. What? She's gone so far, but yet there's still stuff that I forget that she can't do or she won't. Getting her in the water is like pulling it. Nobody made her sit on the sidelines. She should have come to us and talked to us and said, "Hey, when you all were out there, this is how you made me feel." And we could have been like, "Hey sis, that was not our intentions." But that's not how she handled it. And you know what? Recently, Tammy is kind of being secluded from the rest of the family a lot more than she ever has. Have y'all been talking to her lately? Just on the Text message the group. I'll go 7 to 10 days without seeing her. She's just gone. Family dinner. Music. Come on in. Y'all know it's hot and you got the door open, right? With Tammy feeling left out at the lake. Today, I'm going to go ahead and invite her ass over. Hopefully the is in a better mood than she was the other day. And Misty decided to join because it's a free meal. That's the truth. I appreciate you coming over. I know you don't come over all the time, but you don't have, you live literally 20 feet away. You don't have to be a stranger all the time. I ain't a stranger. Y'all know who I am. Yeah, but still, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no reason to stay over at your house all the time by yourself. Come over and BS. I hadn't been spending as much time with my family lately as I used to. There was something new happening in my life, something big and personal, but I wasn't ready to talk about it with everyone yet. The only person who knew what was going on was Amy. It felt strange keeping a secret from the rest of them, because normally we shared everything. We had always been a tight-knit group. But for the first time in a long time, my attention was somewhere else. Life had taken a turn for the better recently, and I could feel that quiet rush of happiness buzzing under my skin. I had big news, the kind of news that made your heart beat faster just thinking about it. I had met someone. Not just anyone, either. I met him at a concert on a night that started out like any other, but ended up feeling almost cinematic. We were in the mosh pit, crowded by people, lights flashing, music shaking the floor beneath us. We were talking, singing, shouting over the noise, but somehow it felt easy, natural. There was an instant connection. After the concert, we walked together to a little stand that sold street tacos, and we talked like we had known each other forever. From that night on, we hadn't been apart. His name was Brian. He was a news reporter, confident, smart, with that kind of warm, curious energy that made you feel seen. We had only been dating for about a month, but everything about him felt right. Brian was kind, caring, funny, intelligent, and he didn't try to change who I was. In fact, he loved the things about me that most people might call weird. He loved horror movies just as much as I did. He even thought it was cool that I had named my kids after horror characters, which was something that usually earned me judgment or raised eyebrows. With him, though, it was different. He got me. There was a lightness in my step these days. I couldn't stop smiling when I thought about him. One evening, I decided to introduce Gage to something new in our home life. Come on, let's go. What fans saw on television and what TLC kept hidden about Chris Combs' terrifying hospitalization are two very different stories. Hi everyone, welcome back to another deep dive. I'm Jennifer from 90 Day Insider, bringing you the latest updates, the drama the cameras didn't show, and the behind-the-scenes truths viewers deserve to know. When Chris was first introduced on 1,000 Pound Sisters, fans connected with him instantly. He was more than just Tammy and Amy's brother. He was the grounded, tough love, no-nonsense figure who kept the Slaton family from completely falling apart. Viewers admired his humor, his dedication to helping his sisters, and his determination to change his own life by getting healthier. TLC presented him as the show's unexpected success story, the one who pushed himself toward weight loss surgery, worked hard to lose weight, and became an inspiring figure. But what the network didn't show was that his journey was far from smooth. Beneath the positive edits and motivational storyline, Chris was dealing with a darker, more dangerous reality, one that eventually sent him to the hospital.